Mr. Vandermeer, please tell me about your dream.
I was watching TV. It was me on the screen. But I looked different, more real. And then I said, Enin Xis Xis Lennak. Did I talk backwards?
Channel 12. Channel 67.
A place of relaxation, a place to empty the mind, reflect in the past and the future.
What?
Detective Vandermeer,
Hello?
I do hope you're enjoying your stay.
Where am I?
A place to empty the mind. Be warned, some find this place hard to leave. Look through the keyhole.
Look behind you.
Move my face.
Did you make the right choice? Go deeper into your mind. Look at the painting and burn your soul. Detective Vandermeer.
Hello?
My name is Aldous
What
Vanderboom.
can you tell me?
Are you looking for a new
I think
present
so.
mind? I am confident the new mind is not far
Where should I
away.
look?
You have been looking before.
What do you mean?
Watch yourself.
Okay.
Channel 412. Welcome to your present mind. Thank you for having me as your counsel. Let's examine your current state. But first, I would like a cup of coffee. Welcome to your present mind. Thank you for having me as your counsel. Let's examine your current state. But first, I would like a cup of coffee. Let's find the traumas of your past. Mr. Vandermeer, I will show you 5 images. Tell me what you see.
1, I see a moth. 2, a crow. 3, murder. 4, fear. 5, I see my corrupted soul.
Thank you, Mr. Vandermeer.
Hello, son. Happy birthday. Please prepare the decorations.
Please, prepare the decorations.
Time to party.
Please call Mr. Aylander, the magician.
Good morning, D. Aylander. Magic show.
When will you arrive?
I am already here,
Where?
in front of the door. Is he hiding somewhere? Look at yourself, son. He is somewhere in the world.
He is somewhere in the world. It's not time for your present yet.
Turn on channel 369. Look behind you. Time to open your present. This coffee is too bitter.
Welcome to the future. One of us will die. The other will be enlightened. Make the right move, Dale.
Hello, Johnson Bird Food.
Do you sell parrot food?
Yes, we do.
Do you deliver?
Yes, we deliver.
1 packet of parrot food to Rusty Lake.
We will deliver in the future.
Thank you.
I cannot think. I cannot think. Dale, we meet again. Finding your corrupted soul is the final test. Once, I was a man like you. A great sacrifice was needed to become something else. My time is limited, Dale. I need a successor, the ruler of the lake. Continue your journey and face your corrupted soul. You know what to do.
Please embrace your corrupted soul. I know you have made your choice. Use your corrupted soul